What space are you in right now, relationship-wise?
Well, I'm 30. I'm very open to the idea of a very significant relationship. But I don't believe that I should only date to marry, because that would be levying so much pressure on the woman across. Yeah, I will meet the right sort of person and then we'll see where it sort of goes.
Do you never feel pressure from society? It's time to settle down.
There's only been a slight sense of pressure, semblance of pressure from my parents, only because of the biological age of the woman. My parents are like, okay, you're 30. If you settle down by 33, the partner is also 33, then naturally she'd want a year or two to chill, whatever. She doesn't want to get knocked up right after marriage. And 35 onwards, it starts getting a little tricky. That's the only sense of pressure I get from society. I'm so disconnected. I barely hang out with the society in a sense. I barely have a social circle. I have most friends in Delhi and then in Chandigarh, but no pressure at all. I hang out with a lot of people who are married and now divorced or going to be divorced, and all of them say don't get married. Like, that's the worst thing you can do to yourself. But I'm a firm believer in the institution regardless. If a divorce is written in my destiny, then so be it. But I will go through with the process at least. But there's no pressure whatsoever. I really don't think there's an age for anything. I quit my job at 20 or 25 and I came back home and I'm like, you know what? I need to do something different. Everyone in society, my uncles, my aunt said, what's he doing? He's destroying his potential. I'm like, no, I got to figure this out for myself. So I think there's no age to this. If I find the right person at 36, I'd settle down. If she's 5 years younger, I don't care. If she's 5 years older, I don't care. It's totally fine. I really don't like to go with what society says.
You're not in any kind of a rush, basically.
No rush whatsoever. I want to attract the right person, and that's going to happen when I am the right person. When I live those values fiercely, then the right sort of people gravitate into your life.
So why do you think you're currently single? Like, what have the challenges been that you're facing?
A lot of the challenges come from logistics. I live in a very tiny city and I have access to people from around the world. Thanks to social media, even before, I've had the good opportunity, the good fortune of sitting at tables where I wouldn't have had access to, right? So that's been pretty nice. But that means that I've got to bring somebody into my simple living. Not a lot of work opportunities. Sometimes you get along so well with somebody who is abroad. Then what do? Do you expect her to uproot her life? That wouldn't be so fair. Even if she does it for you, she might resent you later, for sure.
And why are you open to uprooting your life?
That's a great question. That's something that my friends have always asked me, but women friends, not the male friends, because they've always understood that a man does not uproot his life, right? But my thing is, I don't want to move away from my parents, essentially, long term. That was one of my most defining decisions why I didn't move abroad. My sister's been abroad for the last 8 years. And I said, you know what? I want to be with them. Everyone's aging. Life is brief. You never know what happens tomorrow. I just would have massive regrets if I don't spend a lot of time with them. So I think that's been one of the key priorities of my life, which is why I needed to also figure out how to create an income sitting in my small town. Like I joined my dad's business. I don't work a conventional job. So the universe has been kind, but that's been one of my most significant priorities, that I live with my parents or like in proximity to them, for sure.
When you grew up in such an intimate environment where you're so close-knit, it becomes such a prominent value, and you need to find someone who shares that similar value system.
Yeah.
How has the experience been dating in a small town vis-a-vis a big city or elsewhere in the world?
So I think the city doesn't matter.
Oh.
I know people in Dehradun who are nothing like who I am, who want to move out and who don't want to stay with parents. And I know people in Noida who absolutely want the traditional setup. So I think it's the smallest unit of the society is the family. And I think that decides everything. What sort of an environment are you growing up in? And that sort of forges a lot of your belief systems. If your childhood was healthy, then your conception of a family, your idea of a family is something to be cherished. But if you had a toxic childhood or something like that, then you might be averse to the idea, or pretty much. If you saw your parents being mean to each other, whether you're in Dehradun or you're in Landlord or you are in Mumbai, I think you wouldn't want to settle down easy.
Yeah, our parents are our first model of relationships, right? And it's also our template of love that we inherit. That's what they believe love looks like. The love they give each other, the love they give us.
And I think that's what I would seek in a partner. You are your own person, I am my own person, and we go pursue our ambitions and we go thrive. But should we mess up, and we will, there is somebody out there, no questions asked. You did something criminal, no questions asked. There's a person there. Yeah. I think that's essentially what you seek in a partnership. The last thing I want to do is merge with my partner and sort of become one identity. I think that's going to be incredibly boring.
You mentioned that you are excited to pursue your ambitions, right? You are obviously successful in what you do. How important is ambition for you and a partner? Or does a woman's income matter to you?
No. Most of all, what I care about is a separate sense of identity. Whether she's ambitious or not, it's totally fine. Whether she wants to just manage the house, honestly, that's perfectly fine. Whether she wants to work for 5 years and then give it all up for good, I don't think I'm going to ever have a problem with that. But if that means, if leaving her job or vocation means that she's now relying on me for her social needs, emotional needs, personal needs, every little thing, then of course it again leads back to the same problem where she's trying to unite with me as a single entity. Yeah. If she has her own set of hobbies, her own sense of identity, I think I'm pretty much okay with that. Her economic status would not really matter to me, because I think men really like to provide. I think they are most at peace when they can provide for their partner. And I think it's just, we've been wired like that. No matter how feminism comes into the play and equality of paychecks and stuff like that, it's somewhere even the woman desires that.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's not a conscious expectation or a communicated one, but like instinctually, if we talk about masculine and feminine energy, perhaps the feminine energy does lean more towards the nurturer and the masculine more towards the provider mindset. I also think that it's an incredibly individual dynamic, and everybody has a different relationship with like their own masculinity.
Even if she's earning more and my partner could be earning more tomorrow, it's going to be fine as long as I know I'm doing my part. I'm trying to make the best of myself. I think a woman would rarely abandon me if my business goes south in the future, as long as I'm working hard and I'm trying. And she'll be very happy to pay the bills as long as she sees me, okay, the guy is trying. But if I'm lazing in bed and waking up late, and actually she's going to start to resent me some ways.
So are there any other specific qualities that you desire?
Somebody who wants to live simply. It's fine to purchase the expensive bags and stuff. Even I like some of the luxurious things of life. But that shouldn't be why you're working and why you want to wake up in the morning. I think you have to be growth-minded. That's very important to me. I don't care if you're fit, you have to be fitness-oriented. That orientation is very important. That, this is the sort of life I want to eventually build. If we did this conversation 2 years down the line, maybe my answers are completely changed. And that's fine, because I wasn't the person that I was today, right? I've changed, I've evolved. And that's what I seek in a partner. This constant nudge towards evolution, towards self-actualization. Mm-hmm. Why are we trying to make more and more money? So that we don't have to think about money eventually. We're not making money to make more money every day. Mm-hmm. We don't want to have money problems, because the day you don't have money problems, you can actually care about your fitness, your hobbies, and stuff that makes you thrive.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Say you're on a date, for example. Are there any behaviors that you'd observe that would be an instant deal breaker?
Honestly, not much.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very easygoing when it comes to table manners. Because you also have to understand, I have learned all of this. I wasn't born with it. If someone doesn't know how to use their chopsticks correct, for example, not at all a deal breaker. But if someone's speaking rudely to the waiting staff, naturally you take note of that. But then you also have to take that into context. Maybe she's just in a nasty mood today. Everyone's going to have a bad day someplace at some time or the other. But I don't think I have any deal breakers per se. What would you say is a deal breaker for you if you're dining with a man, for example?
I feel like if I'm dining with a man and if he is monologuing the whole time.
Right.
For example, if he's interviewing himself, what do I like about being an entrepreneur? Let me tell you what I like about being an entrepreneur.
Right.
I think a lot of guys feel the need to regurgitate their resume and their credentials and their lists of accomplishments. And that's a put off for sure, because if I'm on a date, I would want them to seek to ask questions about me and take
For
a
sure.
genuine interest in knowing who I am as a person.
Naval Ravikant spoke of it recently in his podcast, and he says that men have this fundamental need to be validated, especially by their significant others. Now, I totally understand why you would feel it's a turn off because it's a date. But if you were in a long-term partnership, say a marriage with somebody, I think the man would still feel that. Like he's done so much at work and elsewhere, maybe he's played a great round of golf. He wants to come back and have you tell him, listen, you did so well. You know, you the man. I think that's all he wants to hear from his lady. And that's the sort of validation I think we men thrive on.
Yeah.
Today's social media will have thousands and lakhs cheering for you. Who's that one person you want to hear from? The day she stops giving it, I think there's a disconnect.
Yeah. So speaking of dating in general, like if you meet someone or you even see someone who you find attractive, what's your approach and what's your mindset at that point of time?
This is like solid advice to every guy out there. You got to develop the skill of approaching people. Like it's something necessary. Secondly, don't tell yourself you want to approach her with the idea of attracting her as a potential partner. That's going to levy so much performance pressure on you. Is my cologne correct? Is my nice watch on? How my shoes looking? No, none of that. Just approach a person with the idea of getting to know them. I think that's the finest way you can make an approach, because that way, if you get rejected, and you will get rejected, you'd be fine. You'd be less attached to the outcome and more about the process, which is, let me try and get to know her. Now it depends on your personality, your communication, which is the biggest factor. But don't try to just talk to people, oh, I want to go out there in the dating scene. I'm going out for a drink and let's see if I can find a partner. No, just get interested in people genuinely.
Yeah.
That's going to come across as less creepy, not creepy at all, in fact.
Right.
And the chances of just success in the sense where you get to know her and have a second chance of getting to know her are going to be significantly higher for sure. It's worked for me all the time.
Right. So it's really just about getting your foot in the door, like opening a potential future conversation. I think that's it.
100%.
I feel like as a woman, getting approached also in the wild, you never know like what someone's going to say. You might encounter creeps in your life, right? So I think as like a woman, I would want a guy to be super genuine and not come on too strong. And I feel like that's the line that a lot of times guys get confused about. Like they'll come out right out the gate with like, oh, like I want to take you out on a date or something.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's really intimidating, like as a woman. Lately, a lot of people are facing challenges finding partners, right?
Yeah.
Both men and women. And do you feel like there's a gap between male and female expectations when it comes to dating and relationships?
I honestly think women want the more emotional access to a guy. They want the emotional availability. And men are just looking for that validation and more pragmatic sides. As long as we can come together and settle down on what sort of a life do we want to build together. As long as that is okay, everything else is going to fall into place.
Right.
But if we try and micromanage everything, if I try to construct an ideal woman, you know, that's how tall she should be and she should hit the gym and strength train, it's never going to happen. Our expectations will always vary because we come from such different mindsets. All of us, we're so diverse. No two humans are the same. So the broader landscape should be right. So for example, I fantasize about shifting to the hills someday. One swanky car, dogs, outdoor gym, and a nice modern house. That's my ideal living, to be honest.
You have it all planned out.
I do, and I want to watch the sunset and be in bed by 9:30. Now, if that sounds absolutely undoable to a woman who wants to rage and no judgment, but then we're not going to have a similar vision. We're not going to be working for the same things. A value base is so important from the get-go. If that's sorted, everything else is fine. Looks fade. I mean, men are just going for the hottest thing out there.
Really? You think
it's
so?
gonna fade. I could have the hottest girlfriend out there. In 30 days, I'm not gonna think she's the hottest, right? Everyone else is still gonna
if you're fighting every day, well...
you get the best car out there. And then the next day you want a better one in a year or something, right? So the point is, looks will fade. That's ephemeral. The value base and the self-actualization and the similar mindsets will sustain.
Yeah. What was it like the first time you were in love? And is that something that you've ever forgotten?
Love, I don't even know how to describe it. I ask my mom all the time, what is love? And she honestly says there's nothing called love. You just choose somebody who's a kind, compassionate human who's fundamentally a good person. And then you choose to be with them unless there's so much evidence that they are nasty, that your health is suffering, then of course you call it quits, and which is totally fine. But I think it's mostly a choice. I don't think love really exists in that sense, in that Bollywood romantic sense that I walk into a bar and I'm like, damn, she's the one. Like the thunderbolt in Godfather. It might happen, just hasn't happened to me.
Yeah.
So the day it does, we'll do a second sort of conversation.
I'll
And we're like, I got hit by the thunderbolt.
with both of you, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What is a lesson that you've learned or you've taken from a past relationship that's really like stuck with you?
Don't date a scorpion. That's a good one, but I've dated 3.
What are you saying? Why?
They tend to be very territorial. But honestly, that aside, I have this tendency to, when I'm upset or when things require work, I sort of go into my shell and I'll dedicate myself to work. It's that, stereotypical broken-hearted person that says, you know what, I'm hurt, let me channelize it. But it's not the healthiest way, because the person at the other end also wants resolution and wants communication. I think that's something that I struggle with. Most of all, honestly, the people I've been around and I've dated have been all magnificent humans. So I've learned more about myself because they've been open critics, and I love that.
What advice would you give to single guys out there? Do you have any tips or techniques you'd suggest men to consider?
Be authentic, and you gotta be fiercely in love with who you are, while also willing to better yourself. I think get fitter for sure. Work on your speech. I think it's the most important thing. A woman will ignore dusty shoes. She'll ignore a bad t-shirt. She'll ignore a stain, but if you speak well. And I think that's the most important thing. I don't think I worked on my speech and vocabulary for that reason. I just honestly enjoyed words a lot. But has it helped me? Tremendously so.
Yeah.
Tremendously so. I could go on a date even when I didn't have a good body, even when I didn't make money. And that's only because of my speech. So work on your speech. That's like a total deal breaker or maker. It's a game changer. And rest, be yourself. Show up as you are. Don't try to be something you're not.
Appearance and everything was always secondary to me. Like if you can hold a conversation with me, and if you can even better like challenge my intellect and make me think something new that I hadn't before, or make me think, I never thought about it in that way. I come away feeling like I learned something and feeling like, dang, like impressed by that person, and I want to know more, like curiosity piqued. Arranged marriage, is that for you?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
But a significant courtship period.
Got it.
A total significant
Get to know each other अच्छे से.
Honestly, I want to travel with her. I hope my significant other would be okay with that, because if she comes from a little conservative setup,
कई बारी वो allow नहीं.
no, my parents are damn chill.
Okay.
They are. I think a big part of why my personalities flourish thoroughly is because of the setup at home. And they said, don't do wrong things. You have 2 sisters. Don't be mean to women. All of that, but pursue yourself. Overcome yourself. And I think that's really, I owe it all to them. That to give me that ecosystem where I could flourish.
Yeah, absolutely.
A seed will only grow as beautifully as the soil around it. It could be the finest seed on earth. What
a wonderful place to draw to a close.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it was quite a conversation.
Yes.
I wish I had asked you more riveting questions.
No, we'll have to have you back.
I would love to. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching another episode of Love Handle. If you enjoyed the video, do be sure to hit subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.